Smelling good isn't just important, it's a necessity for every man. That's why the first step you can take is have a shower every morning. Now when you get into the shower, there's a couple of things you can do to make sure you come out smelling attractive as fuck. First thing you can do is swap your shower gel for soap, and I use a good old fashioned orange piece of soap. It's like, oh, it's so good. And it's called Right Soap. That's it there. I believe this soap is so good. I bring at least 5 packets from the UK, so when I'm out in Asia I don't run out of this soap. Especially in this hot climate, you start sweating and you can become quite smelly throughout the day. But by using this soap, I'm able to smell good all day. It's the best soap I've ever used in my life. Now I used to use shower gels like you guys, but the problem with shower gels are they have a lot of perfumes in them and they have a lot of chemicals in them. So when you sweat throughout the day, you just end up smelling really funky. But since I've swapped for this soap, that problem's gone. So if you can find a good soap where you live, it will make all the difference on how you smell. The next step you need to take once you've got the right soap is wash your body 3 times. That means scrubbing yourself everywhere where you need to and then rinsing yourself and repeating that process 2 more times. And if you're really smelly from the day before, make it 4 times. But you've got to wash your body at least 3 times to get rid of all that bad smell and all those germs in your body. The next step you need to take is make sure you're washing every hole and crack on your body. That goes from your nose holes, the holes in your ears, the holes in your ass, everywhere where you have a hole. Wash it and clean it, but also wash in between the cracks. That's behind your ears, behind your neck, in between your ball crack and in between your toes. So many people just wash their armpits and their body and think they're done, but you've got to wash every crack in your body. If you pull off your trainers now, pull off your socks and smell your feet, I guarantee 90% of you will have smelly feet because you've not taken the effort to wash in between your toes. Now you may not think people can smell your smelly feet, but trust me, they can. That's why it's so important you wash between every crack and every hole, especially between your toes. If you do that, you will come out smelling so fresh, it's unbelievable. But also you will feel so clean for the first time in your life. The next thing you want to do is wash your hair. Now I use this one from GR7. It's quite nourishing. It doesn't damage your hair. If you're in your 30s, 40s and 50s, you want to look after your hair. So you want to be using the right shampoo. Whether this is good or not, can't really tell you. I'm not seeing any negative impacts from it. And I use one of their other products. That's why I use this shampoo. But I'm only washing my hair twice a week. I don't wash it every day because it takes out the natural minerals from your hair. But you want to be washing your hair at least twice a week. If you're not doing that, your hair will stink and that will leave a nasty smell wherever you go. So make sure you're washing your hair at least twice a week and find a really good shampoo. Next step you've got to take is deodorizing your body. Now I used to like sprays, but now I've gone on to a roll-on. The products I'm showing you today is everything that I use. Now I use Nivea. Now I know they've got certain chemicals in it and it could be potentially affecting your testosterone. But I don't have time to look for the right deodorant or try the right deodorant at this moment in time. Plus, I'm gonna hopefully release my own range in the future in the next coming years. But that's another topic. But I've gone from using sprays to roll-ons. And I find these are a lot better than sprays. When I spray, I find they're a little bit sticky. They can be a little bit musky smelling. But since I've gone to a roll-on, I find it's a lot lighter on my skin. It feels a lot better. My body can just breathe a little bit better. So I would definitely find the right deodorant, and I think you can't go wrong with the right roll-on. If you want to use sprays, you can use sprays, but one thing you want to look out for, make sure whatever you're using, it says antiperspirant. This just reduces your sweating a little bit, but also makes the smell a lot better. Once you've deodorized your armpits, the next thing you want to do is deodorize your balls. Yes, you heard me right. Now, I use this powder from Thailand. It's called Yoki powder. It's not available in the UK. Well, actually it is if you buy it on eBay or somewhere like that. But this just helps to keep your balls cool and smelling clean. Now, the one thing I would say about this, I don't know the long-term impacts of using this around your genitals. So I keep the amount to a minimal amount just so I'm staying fresh throughout the day. And until I find a better product or a more organic product, I'll continue to use this. And if I do find anything, I'll do a new video on it. But look for something to deodorize your balls. Some people use baby powder, but I find this works really well. It stops the sweating. I don't have any itchiness, and especially out in Asia where I sweat a lot, it's very helpful. Back in the UK, I only use a little bit. Out in Asia, I use a little bit more. But deodorizing my balls, it's a game changer, guys. You will smell so much better throughout the day. Now, the final thing is having a good aftershave. Now, there's 3 types of aftershaves. There's a cologne, eau de toilette, and a parfum. Now, the cologne is very light, very fresh, will only last a couple of hours. So if you want to buy something like that just to top up throughout the day, that's a good idea. Most of you will be buying an eau de toilette or a parfum. Now, an eau de toilette is a little bit lighter. It doesn't last as much throughout the day. A parfum can last anything up to 12 hours, but it's not as fresh smelling. That's the only disadvantage. So if, like me, I'm someone who likes fresh smells, I own eau de toilettes and parfums. I'm not going to mention those 2 words again because they're tongue twisters. So the ones I recommend are, you can't go wrong with Chanel Allure Sport. Smells beautiful, smells fresh, lasts about 6 to 8 hours throughout the day, and you can just top it up in the evening. I love Chanel that much that I've actually bought a perfume for the weekends and evenings. This smells beautiful, guys. I really like this smell. It's a little bit clean. It's not the strongest smell, and it does last a lot longer than the Allure Sport. I like wearing something fresh during the day and a perfume in the evening when I go out for dinner. I like putting that on. And sometimes I'll switch throughout the day. But if you own a couple of good aftershaves, it will make all the difference to the way you smell. Now, I know a lot of people say you should invest £450 on Creed, or what's the other one called? Tom Ford. But that can be a big investment at the beginning. And if you've not got that amount of money, you can go for something a little bit less. If I was going to go at the lower end, I'd probably just stick to Armani. This is a classic smell, Armani Acqua di Gio. This is a perfume, but I find this is a little bit fresher than normal. And I've been using this for the last month. I've got a little bit left, you can see in there. A great smell, but it's not too expensive. So on the lower end, if I was looking for aftershaves, I'd probably look for an Armani or what's the other one? A Christian Dior. Those 2 are quite good smells. If I was wanting to spend a little bit more, I'd look at the Chanels. And if I wanted to go to the top level, I'd probably invest in some Tom Ford and some Creed. But Armani, look, I've even got this one here, and I love this smell as well. Unfortunately, Armani have stopped doing this, but if you can get this smell, guys, you might be able to. I got this at UK at one of the ferry ports. If you can get this smell, it's banging. It doesn't say parfum, it doesn't say eau de toilette, it says absolute. I don't know what the hell that means, but that is a beautiful smell. Now, how much should you put on? With the perfumes, you can put a little bit less, but I go quite crazy with my aftershave. So I will literally put on 1, 2, 3, 1 behind my ear, a couple on my wrist, and then I will probably do 6 to 12 shots on my body. You heard me right, I do put quite a lot on, but I'm quite a sweaty guy and I'm quite a tall guy. I'm 6'2", so I've got a bit more surface area to cover. So that's why I put a little bit more on. And with the perfume, I'll put a little bit less. But most aftershaves now, you can put a lot more. But if you're putting the Tom Fords and Creeds, you probably need to put half the amount on. And maybe that justifies the expense of you spending so much. But I think if you're starting off, you can't go wrong with the Armanis. If you've got a little bit more money, definitely invest into the Chanel. I've got 3 Chanels. I've got the gold bottle as well, but I've left that in the UK. And I think this is a really good, solid foundation, having 3 different Chanel aftershaves. I think you'll be pretty much covered. And if you've got the extra money, treat yourself to Creed. Now, if you found this video helpful, you're gonna love this video because I will share my 5-step process to improving bad breath.